Hi, everyone. So whatever be the query that you have, please post it in the QA section, and I will answer each and every questions at the end of the session. Okay, so let's get started. One of the most widely used programming language in the world is Python because it is easy to learn, adaptable, user-friendly, simple in syntax. On the other hand, choosing an IDE or editor that is integrated, when we are talking about IDE, that is integrated development environment, can be difficult for beginners to choose. Hence, we come up with some of the IDE or editor that we primarily use for the Python programming language. These are Pycharm, VSCode, and Anaconda Navigator, where we have the Jupyter Notebook. Now let's talk about that. What is the primary difference between the Pycharm and VS Code? People often get confused between the IDE and editor. The primary difference between the IDE and editor is the plugin. VS Code is having no plugins. VS Code, whereas the Pycharm is having the plugins. So those environment or those software which is having the plugins, they are considered as the IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Hence, Pycharm is an IDE designed by JetBrains, whereas VS Code is a text editor. But both can be used to write a piece of code of different languages. But Pycharm is basically used or has been developed or designed only for the Python. But at the same time, you can integrate with the rest of the programming language, different programming language. Whereas Jupyter Notebook is an open source web application that you can use to create and share documents that contain live code, equations, visualization, and textual data or text. Okay. Now let's understand that what is the primary difference between the Pycharm and VS Code in details, and then we will move forward to the Jupyter Notebook. So first is that when we talk about the performances, so Pycharm is both are having a very good performance. But when we talk about the performance, then the Pycharm, both are having the different kind of qualities. But when we are talking about the performance of Pycharm, then it runs the Python project. It uses a significant amount of RAM depending upon the size of the project. It can easily use at least 1 GB, whereas Visual Studio, VS Code, use RAM in MBs and is less memory intensive. The second comparison both of them are having about the auto code completion. So what do you understand by the term auto code is that whenever you will write something, for example, if you are writing a function def, then automatically it gives you, or if you are importing something, for example, you are writing import numpy. So automatically it is going to give you the auto code completion recommendation, which is available both in Pycharm also in VS Code as well. Okay. Now the next is that we are having the code management. Both are having the code management, but there is a slightly difference between that. Pycharm delivers a range of tools all in one product that is beneficial to any programmer working with the Python application or script, or as well as the web development, either using the web framework like Flask or Django, whereas VS Code does not come with the built-in Git integration, so you have to install the plugins such as the VS Codium or Git Plus to just use that or to integrate with the Git repository. Okay. Now the third is that, now the fourth we have is a memory usage. According to the according to the downloading of the different like a Pycharm or a VS Code, that 372 MB must be downloaded to download the Pycharm Community Edition, whereas VS Code is incredibly light and requires only 76.2 MB to download, and using only roughly 40 MB of the computer memory. So if you are looking for a good memory efficient platform or like coding tool, then you can go for the VS Code, because it is occupying less space or memory, but at the same time it is also like it is not going to have the plugin, whereas the Pycharm is having inbuilt plugin to it. That's why Pycharm is called as the integrated development environment, whereas VS Code is an editor. Now talking about the initial setup, so both of them are having like very simple initial setup, and it is very simple to code also after doing the download. So let's go to the initial setup. First, we will download the Pycharm. So in order to download the Pycharm, just first go to the browser. So here I'm using a Chrome as a Google Chrome as a browser, and just write here Pycharm download. Okay. Then you will get this first link, which is from the https www.jetbrains.com. So this is the official site from where you can download the Pycharm. Just click on it. Okay. Now here you can see two options. First is Pycharm Professional is there, and Pycharm Community Edition is there. When we are talking about the Pycharm Professional, then you have to pay some price for it in order to use it. Whereas if you wanted to download the free version, or just wanted to, the free one which you wanted to use, then you can go for the Pycharm. All you need to do is that just click on this download button. Okay. And then you can see that here you can get that you are getting like Pycharm is downloading. Just wait for a second. Okay, so go to the browser and then write there Pycharm downloads. Okay, and then click on it. You can get the first here JetBrain downloaded Pycharm. This is the official site, which comprises of like the URL for it is www.jetbrain.com. Just click on it, and you are having two you can see here the Pycharm Professional is here, and the Pycharm Community Edition is here. So for Pycharm Professional, you have to pay some money, whereas for the Pycharm Community Edition, you don't have to pay anything. It is free of cost. All we are going to do is that click on this download button, and here you can see that it is getting downloaded. Once it will get downloaded, then we will click on it, and we will follow all the procedure which is needed to download the Pycharm. So here you can see that this is getting downloaded. Okay, it's downloaded. Now double click on top of it. And minimize it. Box where it is written, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your devices? Click on yes. Okay. Once all the setups, click on next. Okay. This is the destination folder where by default it is going. Okay. It is going to. Okay. If you wanted to change the folder, so all you need to do is that click on the browse, select the path where you wanted to store, and then click on the next button. Here you can see that the space required to download the or install the Pycharm is 1.5 GB. And the space which I have is 346.7 GB. So we can easily download it. So click on the next then. Here you can get the another pop-up box which comprises of what? Create desktop shortcut. Do you want it? Yes. So click on it. Update context menu. Add open folder as project. Yes. Create association. Yes. So if you will click on top of it, you will get .py file. Update path variable. Yes. Click on it. Click on all the check boxes and then press on next button. Here you can see that you are getting this install button. Once you will click on the install button, you can see that your installation is in progress. Okay, now we can see that our installation is completed. Now the next step is completing Pycharm Community Edition setup, where you have to restart or reboot your system before starting the Pycharm. Here we are not going to reboot now, so I'm going to click on I want to manually reboot later. Okay. Now once we are done with this, we are going to click on the finish button. Okay. Now our setup is over. All you need to do is that just go to this Windows and type here Pycharm. Okay, now you can see that here you are having the Pycharm. Open it. Okay, now here you are getting the agreement here. Just read it if you wanted to. These are the terms that that JetBrains has proposed. Just read it, and once you are done with this, click on this I confirm that I have read and accepted the terms of this user agreement. Once you're done with this, then click on the continue, share data sharing, don't send or send anonymous statistic. So if I will click on this send anonymous statistic, so just click on this. Okay, once I'm done with this, then I just need to click on the new project. Okay, now here you can change this. Here you can change this name of the folder. For example, my first Python. My first Python. Okay, just click on it. You can see that the virtual environment has been created here. Okay, so once you are done with this, all you need to do is what? Just remove this and here print what? Print hello world. Okay. Once you are done with this, all you need to do is what? You have to click on the run button where here it is. Just click on it. You can see that here my hello world has been printed. Other than that, if I wanted to do the sum of two numbers, for example, num1 is equals to 67, num2 is equals to 88. And if I want to print, if I want to store it into some variable, sums is equals to num1 plus num2. And if I will print here the sums, then and I'll click on this run button. You can see the output over here. Okay, so this is how we are supposed to download the Pycharm in our system. Now let's go to how to download the VS Code. Okay. Okay, so now in order to download the VS Code, all you need to do is what? Go to the browser again and then click here VS Code download. Okay, click on it. Double click on this first URL. Here you can see the three options is here. Windows is here, DB is there. So this is for the Ubuntu. This is for another operating system. This is for the Apple or Mac OS. This is for the Windows. So since my system, we are downloading for the Windows. So just click on Windows. Okay. Now you will get here the download option. So once you will click on the download, here you are getting what? Version, the latest version is 1.8.3. Okay, just click on the download button. How you are supposed to do? Here I'm having what? Okay, user installer, that to 64. How I will get this is that just click on this and write here settings. Okay, once you're done with this, then write here about your PC. Okay, click on it. Here you can see that what is the system type is 64-bit operating system with 64 based processor. Okay, since We know that it is 64-bit. So we have to what? We have to click here and then download. So downloading is taking place. Once it will get downloaded, then we will do the setup. Okay, so downloading has been done. Just double click on top of it. Okay, you have to just read this agreement. Once you're done with this, I accept the agreement. Click on next. Okay, create a desktop icon. Yes, click on this. Click on next as well, and then you can see here that ready to install. Since in my system I already have it, so once you will click on the install, it will start installing. Then the next step that you have to do is that just click on the exit button once it is launched. Okay, after doing this setup, all you need to do is what? Just click here, VS Code. Okay, so here you can see that you get the Visual Studio Code. Okay, and then click on this. Okay, so then you will get this kind of interface when you will install the VS Code. Here you can go to the file and create the new text file, new file, open file. You are going to get a lots of option over here. Okay, new file. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a new file here. I'll click this. Okay, and here I'm going to have the Python file here. Okay, and then here you have to write all the syntax that you wanted to write here. Hello world. Okay, once you are done with this, just click on this run button. Click on it. Okay, so if you will click on run here, okay, so inside this folder, if I want to create a new file, all I need to click is what? New file. Okay, Python file I want. Here you can see the output here. Okay, after clicking the run button, you have to create one Python file here. Once we are done with this, then as many times you wanted to print the output, you can see here. If in case I wanted to do the sum of two number, num1 is equals to 67, num2 is equals to 22, and it will be like sums is equals to num1 plus num2. And if I will print here sums and I will run here, you can see that the output is 89. Okay, so that's how we are supposed to download the VS Code, and that's how we run the first Python code in VS Code. Now the next we have is Jupyter Notebook. So I have already told that Jupyter Notebook is nothing but an open source software which actually provided us the interface, or which provide the open source web application that you can use to create and share the documents that contain the live code or equations or visualization or text, all these stuff. So now you can see that what is Anaconda Python. So basically Anaconda is a distribution of Python and R. It is free and open source and makes packages management and deployment simpler. Okay, if you wanted to manage the code, if you wanted to create the code from the initial and wanted to see the visualization or want to see the output in the very second, then you have to use the Anaconda. Whereas for the deployment, if you want to have various folders and inside that folder you are going to get the various modules, so for the deployment, Pycharm or the VS Code would be the best option. Okay, so Jupyter is the primary or is the best open source web application that data scientists nowadays are using. Okay, and now the next is that what is the benefit of using the Python Anaconda? First, it is open source, that means it is free, and it has more than 1500 Python or R data science packages. When we are talking about the packages, so it is having the NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, TensorFlow, Keras, and so many packages and libraries are present here. Anaconda is basically very simpler, and it's a simplified package management and deployment. So you can use the Anaconda for the deployment purpose only. If you wanted to work on the Google Colab, this is also the replica or the having the same interface as that of the Anaconda Navigator's Jupyter Notebook. Okay, and it can be used mainly for the machine learning and AI only. Anaconda is the industry standard for developing, testing, and training on a single machine. Now let's understand that how can we download the Anaconda Navigator in our system. All you need to do is what? Just go to the browser, click here, Anaconda. Okay, click here, Anaconda. Then you will get this first URL. This is nothing but official page of Anaconda Navigator. Click on it. Okay, you get this interface. Okay, here you can see the free download section. Just click on the free download. Okay, now second is that click on the download. Here you are going to get three options here: Windows, Mac OS, and Linux as well, Ubuntu. So you can click on top of it, and here the downloading started. Since I already have Anaconda, so I'm not going to download it again. But just let's wait that how much time it will take. And then we will do the initial setup. Yeah, here you can see that it is, few seconds are left to get downloaded. Yeah, this is downloaded now. Just double click on it. Okay, it is taking quite time. Okay, so here you can see that this setup or this power box will come. Just click on next button. Just look at the agreement or license which they have. Okay, if you are agree with this, I agree, click on the I agree. Okay, just me or all user requires admin privilege recommended, keep it just me only, and then click on the next button. This is the destination folder where it get installed. If you wanted to change the destination, just browse here and select wherever you wanted to do the installation. Okay, then click on the next button. Since I have already this particular anaconda in my C drive, so what I will do, I will change the destiny of it, or I can keep it. Just the next part is that. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so if I will click on this PC, here you are getting operating system D. So I am now putting it in the D drive itself. Oh, okay, in the D drive if I wanted to. Okay, now in D drive specifically where I wanted to put in the D drive, that I have to specify here. For example, I wanted to put it inside program files. Okay, just click on it, and wherever you wanted to put, just click OK here. You will get the next option here. Click on the next option. Okay, this file is not empty. Once you will click on the next button, then you will get the installation option here. Click on the installation, then your anaconda has been downloaded. Okay, once you are done with this, then click here, anaconda navigator. Okay, here you are getting this. Click here. Okay, so here you will get the interface of the anaconda navigator where you will get the Jupyter Notebook. It will take few times. Okay, so here you can see the anaconda navigator and multiple options. Here you can see the Jupyter Notebook. Just click on the launch button. Wait for a while. Just click somewhere. For example, in desktop, I'm creating one folder or one file here. This is how Jupyter Notebook looks like. Just click here and rename it. My first Python. Okay, my first Python. Name of this file is my first Python. And you can do the print here, hello world. Okay, then click on this run button. Just click on it. You will get the output just beneath this or below it. If I want to do the sum of two number, that is number 1, number 2 is this 90, and if I store in a variable number plus num2, and if I will print the sums here, you would get the output just below it. So this is how fast and how easy to use the Jupyter Notebook. If you wanted to do the visualization also, it is possible in Jupyter Notebook. All you need to import one library, okay, and that is from matplotlib. Import numpy, import matplotlib.py plot as plt. Okay. Once you are done with this, now the next thing that you say is, if you haven't imported these library, so to do the importing of library, all you need to do is the pip, right here, pip install numpy, for example. So since in my system it has already been installed, so it will give me that the requirement has been satisfied. Requirement already satisfied. Okay, that's why I'm using it. But if you haven't installed it yet, then please write this pip install and then the name of the library. Okay. So if I wanted to do the visualization here in Jupyter Notebook, all you need to do is what? X equals to, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Y is equals to 10, 20. Okay, if I'm having a list, 10, 20, 30, 40, and then 50. Okay, plt dot plot. Here I'm plotting what? X and a Y. Here plt dot show. Okay, so here you can see that you can see the visualization in one go in Jupyter Notebook. So that's why Jupyter Notebook is the first choice for the data scientist to use. And if when it comes to like deployment and all, we often use Jupyter Notebook, but Visual Studio and Pycharm will have a better option because it is having the plugin option. Okay. So for example, if we use the Pycharm, so there is a one plugin and you can integrate with the Git repository and hence you can deploy your project. But for the testing and for writing the code also, we are using majority of the time we are using the Jupyter Notebook. So that's how we used to download the Pycharm, VS Code, and Jupyter Notebook. That is Anaconda Navigator.